Hi, my name is Linda. I am a 35-year-old graphic designer. Life has a way of testing you, and for my husband Joseph and me, those tests came early in our marriage. Joseph was always a gentle soul, sensitive and caring, which unfortunately made him a target at his workplace. Day after day, he faced bullying that seemed to erode his spirit, a slow poison that drained the joy from his eyes. One evening, Joseph came home, his shoulders slumped more than usual, a defeated tilt to his head that I hadn't seen before. It was the day he resigned. Sitting at our small kitchen table, over cups of lukewarm coffee, we faced the weight of his decision. The uncertainty of our finances loomed large, but the relief in Joseph's eyes told me we had made the right choice. "We'll get through this," I remember whispering, more to myself than to him, clinging to the hope that was now a fragile thread. In the months that followed, Joseph's recovery became our primary focus. It was during this delicate time that we dreamed up the idea of building a new home, a barrier-free house that would not only symbolize a fresh start, but would also cater to the needs of my mother, Sandra. She had recently become paralyzed in a car accident, and her resilience in the face of such adversity strengthened our resolve. Together, we sketched out plans on scraps of paper, each line drawn with a vision of a home filled with love and devoid of barriers, both physical and emotional. It was more than a building. It was our beacon of hope. Despite the financial strain, we were determined to turn our dream into reality, proving to ourselves that out of hardship could come something truly beautiful. As winter melted into spring, Joseph's spirits began to lift. He secured a position at a small, family-run business known for its supportive environment. It was a new beginning, a place where he could work without fear, and every evening he returned home with a little more light in his eyes. Our discussions about the future grew more frequent and focused. We revisited our dream, a barrier-free home, not just in its architecture, but in its spirit. Joseph's grandfather, Stephen, touched by our vision and challenges, gifted us a piece of land. It was more than a gesture of support. It was a cornerstone on which we could build our new life. Joseph and I pored over every detail of the house plans. We designed wide doorways, no-step entries, and a layout that would allow my mother, Sandra, to navigate freely in her wheelchair. The construction began in the warmth of early summer, each day marked by the buzz of saws and the rhythmic hammering of progress. The land Stephen gave us was not just soil and grass, it was a promise, a space where our dreams could root and grow. But with this generous gift came an unexpected wave of resentment from Joseph's family. It seemed that our joy was a mirror that reflected their envy and discontent. Joseph's mother and sister couldn't hide their displeasure. "It's unfair for one to get so much," his sister muttered during a family dinner, her words laced with bitterness. "And for Sandra, no less," added Joseph's mother, her tone sharp and disapproving. Their words hung heavy in the air, like a storm cloud threatening to burst. Despite the mounting tensions, Joseph stood as my unwavering pillar. His belief in our project was unshaken. "We're building a home for our family," he would often say, reinforcing that Sandra was as much a part of this family as anyone else. His conviction was clear, his voice steady, even when his family's words turned from cold to cruel. This rift did not sway our focus. Instead, we poured our energy into the construction of our home, each day drawing a line in the sand between us and the resentment that sought to undermine our happiness. We knew we were not just building walls and floors, we were fortifying our future against the storms of judgment and jealousy. Life, as unpredictable as it is, struck a harsh blow one foggy morning. Joseph was involved in a devastating car accident, and despite the best efforts of the doctors, he slipped away, leaving a void that seemed too vast to ever fill. The news shattered my heart, each piece weighed down by unspeakable grief. The aftermath was a blur of somber faces and whispered condolences, but the real storm brewed when it came time to arrange Joseph's funeral. Instead of support, Joseph's family's words turned accusatory, their grief manifesting as anger directed at me. "This wouldn't have happened if you hadn't taken him away from us," his sister spat out during one of the many heated arguments over the funeral details. Their blame was cruel, an unfair addition to the heavy burden of loss. As we laid Joseph to rest, The air was thick with tension, the solemnity of the occasion marred by whispered grievances and sharp looks. It felt like walking through a minefield, where any step could bring about another explosion of family conflict. Left alone without Joseph's mediation, the rift between us widened. His family's bitterness seemed to grow with each passing day, as if their grief found comfort in blaming me. I struggled to navigate the storm of their hostility, each interaction a painful reminder of the support I had lost with Joseph's passing. After Joseph's tragic passing, the conflict over our shared dream home escalated. His sister and mother, driven by grief and misplaced anger, saw the house as their rightful inheritance and began to stake their claim. They disregarded my feelings and our plans, treating the space as if I and my memories with Joseph were mere obstacles. Their aggressive attempts to take over the house reached a boiling point one dreary afternoon when I found them in the living room, sorting through Joseph's belongings as if cataloging items for a sale. "This is family stuff. It belongs to his real family," his sister declared coldly, her hands on a box of photo albums that chronicled our life together. Faced with their relentless hostility and disregard for my rights, I was left with an agonizing decision. The home that was meant to be a sanctuary of love and inclusivity was now a battleground of familial strife. With a heavy heart, I made the choice to sell the house, a decision that felt like surrender, but was necessary for my peace. I watched as the house was put on the market, the for sale sign stabbing the yard like a final verdict on the disputes that had torn us apart. Selling the house was painful, but it marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, away from the toxic influence of Joseph's family. In the aftermath of selling the house, Sandra and I sought a fresh start. We moved into a secure condominium, a place with no memories of past conflicts, a blank slate where we could rebuild our lives. The decision to distance ourselves from Joseph's family came as a relief, as each day in the new space brought a sense of peace and potential. The condominium was modest but bright, with large windows that let in the morning light and a small balcony where Sandra and I could enjoy our tea. Here, we began to weave a new tapestry of daily routines and quiet moments, far removed from the turmoil that had shadowed our previous home. News eventually reached us of Joseph's family encountering severe financial difficulties. Their once proud faces, filled with undeserved entitlement, now bore the marks of hardship. Though a part of me felt vindicated, I quickly realized that dwelling on their downfall would only anchor us to the past we were trying to leave behind. Instead, Sandra and I focused on our own path. We decorated our new home with warmth and welcomed friends who brought laughter and companionship. We embraced community activities that filled our days with joy and purpose. This chapter of our lives was not just about moving on but about moving forward, honoring Joseph's memory not through the place we lived, but through the values he taught us: kindness, resilience, and the courage to forge new beginnings. As I look back on the path we've traveled, the pain and the joy, I realize how each moment has shaped us. We were pushed to our limits, tested in ways we never expected, but we emerged with a clearer understanding of what truly matters. In this new chapter, free from the shadows of the past, we cherish each day and each other, ensuring that the legacy we build is one of kindness and resilience, a fitting tribute to the love we continue to hold for Joseph. Thus, with a heart looking forward to the promise of tomorrow, I close this narrative of our past. Sandra and I have not just survived, we have thrived, turning a story of loss into one of profound rebirth.